Here on the home front, voters next month will decide the future of abortion in 5 U.S. states, in Montana and Kentucky. Voters face ballot questions asking if they want to further restrict abortion access. And in California, Vermont, and Michigan, they'll be asked to codify a right to abortion in their state's constitution. Our next guest believes if Michigan voters approve amending their constitution, the Great Lakes state would become the most extreme abortion state in the nation. Well, here with more on that is David Kallman. He's senior counsel at the Great Lakes Justice Center. David, it's good to talk with you again. So please explain for our viewers, in your opinion, why would approval of the proposed constitutional amendment on abortion taint pure Michigan?
Well, it's very simple. The left is arguing that all we're doing is codifying Roe v. Wade and putting back in abortion in the first trimester, and that's all this is doing. Nothing could be further from the truth. This constitutional amendment, if it's passed, will allow abortion up to the moment of birth. It will allow partial birth abortion. It will allow children to get abortions without parental consent or parental knowledge and notice. It'll allow school clinics to give contraceptives to kids. It's just on and on. This goes way beyond, in Michigan, just the issue of abortion. It would create a new right to reproductive freedom, whatever that means. And they have a laundry list of different things, including things like sterilization and infertility. So you could get into all sorts of other issues there, transgender surgeries, because that's a sterilization process. There's so many other things here that the people of Michigan need to know and understand how far and wide this new law would go if it's passed. It's very extreme. Gary, it puts us on a par with China and North Korea if it passes. That's how bad it is.
Well, why would that be considered unconstitutional if the people decide to change the Constitution, to amend it?
Well, it's not unconstitutional for them to change it and to put it on the ballot. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that if it's done, people need to understand what it will do. And it goes way beyond just the issue of abortion. And it's going to make Michigan, they will allow no regulation of abortion in Michigan at all.
And despite the 1973 Roe versus Wade decision allowing abortion nationwide, Michigan had a 90-year-old law in the books banning abortion. The 1931 law was not enforced, I guess, after Roe, but only recently was that law struck down by a judge. So on what basis did she strike down that law? And is her decision being challenged under appeal at all?
Planned Parenthood has one case going where a judge issued an injunction in our Court of Claims. Then there's a second case that Governor Whitmer brought against various prosecutors around the state to try to stop them from enforcing our abortion statute. We represent two of the prosecutors who are fighting in that case. And the circuit judge in that case issued an injunction about a month ago, and that's on appeal right now also. So it's really a sad state of affairs in Michigan. We have a valid law that's been on the books really since we've been a state. It's had various incarnations through the years, but the last time it was amended was 90 years ago. We were in the oral argument, Gary, for that case about a month ago, and the Attorney General stood up and pleaded with the judge to hear the voices of women, all throughout Michigan, and to grant this injunction and don't let Back Valley abortions be brought back. So I stood up and said, well, you know what? You're not hearing the voices from the 30,000 babies who are going to be killed if this order is signed. You're not hearing the voices of all the pro-life women in this state that oppose what's being done here. It should be something that's handled at the ballot box. And that's what's happening with our constitutional amendment. I'm not attacking the process. The process is correct. It should be to a vote of the people. That's what the U.S. Supreme Court said in Dobbs. But what I'm attacking is this extreme, far, far beyond the bounds of just common decency proposal. And that's the word that has to get out in Michigan.
And David, finally, polls show a majority of Michigan voters support that constitutional amendment on abortion. So how might state lawmakers respond if voters do approve the measure? Could the legislature block the change? Would it be challenged in court or what?
Well, it has to be challenged in court. But honestly, given the makeup of our Supreme Court at this point, I highly doubt such a challenge would be fruitful. And I don't think the legislature could do anything because it's a constitutional amendment. And it would not allow any regulation of abortion in the state of Michigan because it permits abortion if the mental or physical health of a mother is at risk. Well, I don't think there's an abortion that occurs where you could not argue that. And that's why it allows abortion at any point in time through the process. So it's a very dangerous, very evil proposal. And we have to get the word out. Right to Life of Michigan, the Michigan Catholic Conference, CTV, other groups in Michigan are all joining together, and we're going to be fighting this over the next 6 weeks.
Okay, David Kallman of the Great Lakes Justice Center. Thank you, David, for being with us. We appreciate it.
Anytime, Gary. Thanks.